JudyLee Tarbox brings us Metamorphosis on Palm Sunday.
I am going to tell you the story of a butterfly. She started out, as all others, a lowly caterpillar, one who would have grown but never changed. Her life would have become old, ugly, and embittered had it not been for the grace of the Creator. By his design, she had a taste of the living water and then drank it, which caused the beginning of her new life for her. This is what she would have become. Though she willed herself to change, the metamorphosis could only take place when she was willing to admit that she couldn't. She had to see herself as someone that was powerless. As long as she struggled, she would not change. That submitting to his power was her only chance. Here was her scarf that covered her head, her precious brain, and above average intelligence that would take her wherever she wanted to go. The universities and degrees were hers to obtain, to flaunt and impress others with, to shrink others down to her size. The hair, the crown that should have been, was merely a reflection of the anxieties that riddled her life, for she was prematurely gray. All the worries of the day were hers alone to bear. She worried about everything, her future, her past, her mistakes, her dreams, and as if that wasn't enough, she even worried that she worried too much. The joy that should have been hers had been traded in for a feeling that she alone should take care of herself, and no one else could be trusted. She longed to stop, to rest, but never knew how. Her teeth, the guardians of her mouth, one of her most vicious weapons, were ever ready to bite, to cut others to the quick with sarcasm and barbs. The anger within her was unleashed and aimed like poison darts at anyone who crossed her, for out of the overflow of the heart speaks the tongue. Sometimes it was as seemingly innocent as gossip, other times judgment, and at times outright lies, as she assassinated the characters of others. Her purse was her security, for it housed her beloved checkbook. She was born into affluence, and as long as there was money in the bank to protect her, she was safe. No one could touch her. No one could reach her. No one could get inside far enough to pierce through, to feel her need. For she would wall herself away with material goods, clothes, jewelry, homes, trips, food, hobbies, toys. None of them evil in and of themselves, all of them evil when used to wall off God and others, to worship and adore them instead of him. Her cane, the tool she used like a finger, to point accusingly at the sins of herself that she saw in others. It became a wonderful crutch, this overdeveloped superego, for whenever she felt bad about herself, she could easily find bad in the lives of others around her. Her shoes, they covered one of her saddest features, her feet. Those poor, beaten stubs. She had spent a lifetime wandering aimlessly. She had no purpose, no one to follow, nowhere to go. Each day meant only another 24 hours of hopelessness, a sad commentary on one whom the world said had so much going for her. Here was her burden, the sin she bore that weighed her down, every year getting heavier and heavier, far more than any human could endure. But somehow she tried to continue on, all the while stuffing those sins in her sack, hoping no one else would notice what was so obvious to all. Her life had become grotesque with the weight, her sins disfiguring the beauty that she was meant to be. Lastly was her heart, a shriveled shadow of what the Creator had given her. It was hard and unrelenting, not letting any love in, not letting any love out. Protected from any intruders by her head, her mouth, her purse, and her cane. Till one day she met some friends who had lives of sweet purity. How could this be? When she, who had tried so hard to be good, had instead become twisted and misshapen with sins, hypocrisy, judgment, and idolatry. They offered her the living water, and when the thirst that she felt she could bear no longer brought her to her end, she took a taste. Just a taste, mind you, for she wasn't ready to really drink yet. But that taste was so sweet, and it made her thirsty now beyond compare. She decided that she could no longer go on trying to make the changes in herself that she had longed for all her life. She was at the end of herself and so badly in need of the Creator's hand. She took and drank, and that living water filled her and satisfied her from her crown to her toes. It filled her and permeated her soul with peace that she had never known. So sweet was that taste. The scarf was now removed, and her knowledge was now used for his glory. She was instead a relay of his creative genius to others. Her thoughts became his thoughts, and she surrendered to his spirit. The hair, once gray with concern, was made new again. The joy that was his was now hers. She could cast her anxieties upon him. He was now her caretaker. The mouth that had cut down now began to build up, to sing songs and hymns, to seek ways to soothe hurts rather than cause them, to quench the flames of gossip rather than enkindle them. The purse was now a tool, as is a sheath to a sword. It carried something of great power. Her monies were now used to advance his kingdom. Slowly she learned to seek her safety in his sovereignty alone. She allowed him to guide as to where this powerful tool would best be wielded. The cane was no longer needed, as her urge to judge faded in the light of his grace. She gave it to others that needed to be held up, as she sought to come alongside and bear others' burdens. His strength began to fill her and make old things new again. And her feet began at first to walk, then run, skip, leap, and dance with joy, for she finally had a reason to live, to go on, a master to follow, a path that he had prepared specifically for her. Such joy she'd never known. The burden of sins he took, how she would never really understand, other than that he said he had died for the right to do so. And her heart of stone was given up for his creative act. But when she turned it over to him, he transformed it to a new, vital, living heart.